All right, I feel like it is only right to start this video off by sharing this with you guys. Take a look at this absolutely gorgeous kind of post sunset. Its sun's already down, but it's like a blood orange. You can't see it too well through the camera, but absolutely gorgeous view out here. I am at the Ritz-Carlton in Key Biscayne, Miami, Florida. Currently just enjoying a little 4-day trip here, which is always a lot of fun. I actually haven't been to Miami for over a year, maybe a year and a half now, which is crazy because there was one point about 3.5 years ago where I slept on the streets, actually in a parking garage, which I'm gonna go and show you guys tomorrow. I'm literally gonna drive there. I slept on the ground for 2 nights in a parking garage, which is crazy to be able to, you know, progress from that. And I don't care, you know, I spent a month and a half in Miami and 2 of those were on the street, which was totally okay. You know, just trying to learn, trying to be around the right environment. And to be honest, I just have always loved places that are warm, that have a beach, palm trees, and all of that. So I'm actually headed to dinner right now, but I wanted to kind of intro this video right here just with the beautiful scenery to, you know, lead you guys and, you know, set your expectations properly for what you can expect in this video. I don't know if this is gonna get 500 views, 5,000, 500,000, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter. I just hope that the people that watch this, if there's anyone out there watching this, if you're seeing this, well, that just means that you're trying to focus on bettering yourself. You're trying to focus on working towards something, especially into 2020. So I would like to give you a quick rundown of so far in 2019, some of the key things I've learned, things that have been just absolutely instrumental in both my personal life and business. You know, there's been a lot of things that have both helped me and hurt me, and so I want to be able to share that with you guys. And I think this video is going to be pretty instrumental in, you know, anyone's life, whether you're, you know, just starting your business, you're trying to make your first dollar, you're trying to work a job, whether you're homeless, whether you already have a 7-figure business, an 8-figure business, whatever. You know, I just hope I can put some wisdom out there and things that have, again, really helped me in certain situations and also really burned me. So without further ado, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys dropped a like on this video. Let me know if you want me to do kind of like recaps every single year, because it is just, it's colossal, the difference. I mean, think about this. Take a moment to think about this for yourself. What did you do this year that was so different than last year? Where's your different place? Are you at a different place right now than you were this time last year? How big has that shift been? What else do you know that you didn't know back then? Like, it's crazy. I mean, a year ago, I was in just a completely different space, both headspace, financially, personally. Like, it was a very different landscape of how my life looked. So, you know, things do move quick. I think a year is a long time, but at the end of the day, I mean, they go by quick. We're wrapping up the decade here, which is wild. So I just wanted to put this out there. I have no idea when I'm gonna post it. Right now, it's the beginning of December, so we'll see. I mean, if you're seeing this video right now, it means that I did decide to post it and I haven't died since recording this, so that's good news. But yeah, let's jump to tomorrow. I'm gonna go out in the car somewhere where it's light out and you guys can see me a little better, collect some of my thoughts. I wanna take a moment to like write down some things I wanna talk about inside of this video, because I just believe that this is gonna be kind of a huge key wrap up. And I wanna do this now versus like at the end of the year, because towards the end of the year, I'm always busy doing this stuff internally for myself, for inside of each of my companies, outlining what I wanna do. And there's gonna be a lot of changes. One of the biggest ones is going to include kind of what I do post online. Again, we'll talk more about it tomorrow once we kind of cut, which will be like a 1-second cut for you guys. But I do plan on shutting down one of my companies in March of this next year. Right now, I'm about 50-50 on the route I want to take with that. So I'd love to share that idea with you guys, share some of my feedback, because there's some really big changes that could potentially be happening that'll definitely be altered depending on how I want to structure everything moving forward. Okay, so with that being said, I appreciate your attention. If you have a few minutes, I would love it for you to stick around this video. I know you're gonna get a bunch of value, and I will 100% be answering every single question in the comment section below. So all I ask is that you drop a like on this, help this reach more people so they can get inspired, get some help, or whatever else you possibly need. You know, for me, YouTube, these types of videos didn't exist when I was getting started, you know, when I was sleeping on the street in Miami, or same thing in LA. So things have definitely picked up quickly. I just want to share you guys some positive vibes. So let me know how I can help you. With that being said, let's jump to tomorrow and get on with the video. So for starters, 2019 was one of the craziest years of my life for multiple reasons. Now, I moved states yet again, which was a whole process inside of itself. And honestly, I never expected to leave California. So I'll give you a quick rundown on that. The reason I moved to California is because my entire childhood, I never really got the chance to go to the beach, you know, in a California or a tropical Florida type state. And, you know, I'd always wanted to be there. I wasn't a big fan of the cold anymore. I was just sick and tired of it. And California just, it always had some sort of attraction for me. So as soon as I was kind of in the position where I could move there and, you know, I was able to work wherever I wanted, I did. And I lived there for a while. I had a place there for a year, and I ended up basically moving full-time to Arizona for a couple of reasons: real estate, taxes, and friends. I did not know anyone where I lived in California, and I did that on purpose. And this is something where it might be a little hard for some people to understand. At the time, it was just something I wanted to do, but now I've had multiple people come to me and say, like friends of mine say, you know, I've done a similar thing. And it's almost like it makes sense because, you know, the reason that I didn't know anyone there is because I wanted to go to a place where I didn't really have a social circle. I had no distractions. Yes, I traveled. I would go meet with people here and there, but there were periods where I would literally go a month or two without having a conversation with anyone except the person taking my order to get some food. So it gets to you. You know, like what that does to you, it totally gets to you. So for me, it was definitely a really cool experience. You know, I was just surrounded by a lot of wealth in Newport Beach, California, one of the wealthiest zip codes. You know, it was crazy to see all that. You know, I got to go to the country club and meet some people. I just tried to talk to everyone I could. So, and that was only after a few months because I was a little bit shy at first. But yeah, I was able to meet a handful, not too many, but very successful people, a handful of them. So that was just cool to at least have one or two conversations with people here and there. So ended up going to Arizona before I had to claim residency in California because I didn't live there quite long enough, so I didn't have to pay their taxes. And yeah, I've been absolutely loving Arizona. I'm currently in Florida in some ridiculous car right now. I know this looks absurd, but that was kind of a crazy thing that happened in January of this year. Okay, I got rid of my place in July of this year, which was cool in itself. So one thing for me is I've noticed I do move a lot. And it's not necessarily moving where I completely live, but I also travel. And that brings us to a whole nother point of why this year was so great yet again. I structured my travel much better. So in 2018, if you guys have been following for a while, I did something a little bit crazy. First of all, I moved to LA when I was 17 years old at the beginning of the year. And I was looking for a house in the Hollywood Hills. It was me and a friend. We had a decent sizable budget. And I'll tell you, our decent sizable budget does not quite accommodate at the time what you have to pay to get a house in Hollywood, at least one that we wanted. So after 2 months of searching and spending thousands of dollars in Airbnbs, we're like, you know what, forget this, let's go travel. Before we lock ourselves into anything, let's go travel. So one thing that we did that was super, super cool, and you guys might have seen me do this again this year, is I went to Bali. Well, first I went to China. Okay, I had to do some supplier work and just had some fun out there. But went to China, went to Bali, went to Thailand, went to Prague, Malaysia, and Russia, and all these other places, and I don't even remember where. But went out for like 3.5 to 4 months, came back, and that's when I moved to the beach. But in 2019, I took another stab at traveling, and I had already had my place. You know, I had a place in California and Arizona at the time, so it was kind of a weird feeling because I already had expenses. You know, it's not like I didn't have any living expenses. I did have that. You know, I had my cars as well that are sitting there, like I'm still paying for those. So it was definitely something a little bit different just because, you know, I took another go at traveling. I only went for about 5 or 6 weeks. I went to Bali again, I went to Thailand, I went to Paris, I went to Monaco, which was new. I'd always wanted to go there, in Amsterdam, and you know, it was just a really good time. Right now, I'm in Florida, and I want to explain why traveling is such a huge piece for me. I know some people don't like to do it. Some people feel distracted or whatever, but for me, traveling really helps reset kind of my mind, my entire mode. So, you know, I'm willing to spend a little bit of money. I don't go too crazy. This might look freaking absurd, I know, but you know, I'm able to do it right. I got a buddy whose clients or car rental companies out here, so I got a fat hookup. But yeah, you know, I always like to have fun, and regardless of the car I'm in or where I'm staying, you know, it could be in a freaking Motel 6. I don't care. You know, it's that environment you're in. So for me, traveling's been a huge piece. Now, this year directly, I really put a lot more attention. I do have to apologize to you guys for this. Overall, I put more attention on my actual e-commerce businesses than the education company. So you guys see me now trying to build and kind of brand it as Ecom Season, which is the, kind of the e-commerce training side of it. We do two things underneath there. We help individuals with their e-commerce, learning how to do it. Mostly it's people from scratch who are just trying to get into the space. Second component to it, which we don't really put online because we don't need to, is helping direct clients, business and brand owners that already have a pre-existing business. We do both consulting and we do their marketing, okay? And we don't, I know like a lot of people reach out, can you run my ads? The answer is no, it is not structured like that. So, we have a pretty interesting structure to it, and there's one side of it that I wanna explain. This is what I mentioned in that beginning clip that you guys saw. There's gonna be some big changes, and that does involve, most likely, I haven't made any final decisions, most likely shutting down one of my companies, okay? And it's kind of a subcategory of the company, and that would be the educational side of Ecom Season. And it kind of contradicts a lot of things here, but I do need to keep the long term in mind, okay? It's very easy to get caught up in things that distract you, things that, might be fun for a year, 2 years, 3 years, but aren't ultimately an end goal. So you guys know me. The reason that I'm here on YouTube is because I want to create videos that were not available when I was a kid. So when I was, 13, 14, 15, looking stuff up online, not much existed. So some of these videos that I make, it's funny enough, but I'm not making them for the purpose of getting views. Like driving the Lamborghini to the high school I dropped out of, the video I have that got like 2 million views, ridiculous. It's a little bit clickbait and whatever because like I'm driving the Lamborghini, but I actually did it. I shipped it across the country. I don't care if 30 people watched that video. I would be able to watch it in like 5 years from now and look back on that. So that was something to me that was always like a crazy, like that was a dream of mine, so it's very personal to me. But a lot of the videos I make are just for those couple of people that are searching for something specific. So what do I mean by closing down the education side of my company? I know I've kind of been rambling on with this. It's interesting because I still do want to be the person that creates that content on YouTube. But I think, and again, there's no final decision being made. I would love to hear your opinion. I don't think I'm going to offer any more training programs. I'm gonna only have the one, or like pre-built websites, anything like that all comes from people's requests. I started doing YouTube first, and I was doing it for like 6 months, and then so many people were asking me how I do what I do, and I was making videos and they wanted more and more. That's why the first program came out. I wanted to share what I was doing at 17 years old to make a lot of money at the time, and so I launched it right as I was turning 18, which was like a year and a half ago. I've been doing YouTube for over 2 years. So it's been an interesting thing, and then we came out with the kind of the offer where we can build you guys a custom store. That was a very interesting, fun test to launch kind of a more legit product there. We ran into a lot of issues, a lot of hiccups, but we're rocking and rolling with it now, which is good to see. But it's just weird. So why do I want to do this? Again, I'm always trying to keep the long term in mind. And this, for me, all the money or all this and that from directly selling information, when it's to an individual and not me working with a client, for me, I just saw that as kind of like a fun hobby. It's like a passion, it's like a side thing. And contrary to what most people think, that income does not surpass my actual e-commerce income. Not even close. So for me, that's why, I don't know if maybe it's just me who hasn't done the work, and honestly, it's impressive. Some people who make so much money with, courses and this and that and their educational stuff. I haven't. I never, I guess, learned properly how to run cold traffic to a webinar and funnel people in, but it never interested me. I just did it for fun for people who followed me. So all my sales and stuff are organic, so there's really not that many. I mean, there's times where a week will go by and I make like $1,000. Like that doesn't pay the bills. So, like people just have their own perception of it, and that's the problem. Okay? At the end of the day, you should never care what other people think, but you immediately get thrown into this class, this category, when you kind of do that stuff online, and it's just annoying. Okay, and I feel like a lot of people do take it for granted. They take for granted the amount of work I put in for these YouTube videos, and they might not be the craziest high production, but it takes away from stuff, not just people, but also my family. It takes time away from my businesses. So there are things here, but again, I'm trying to be the person that can make videos that nobody did when I was younger. So it's almost a responsibility. Now let me get it straight. I'm still debating what I want to do. I think that if I were to just not ever offer anything for sale, so nobody would really be able to learn what I do with e-commerce, there's other ways to learn. You can go figure that stuff out yourself. I still would probably post on YouTube. It might not be as frequent, it might not be on some strict schedule, but it would allow me to post whatever I want. More travel stuff, and like never even have to mention e-commerce if I don't want to. I could post financial stuff like, the gold diggers with the Lamborghini, like fun prank videos I used to watch as a kid, and then pop out of nowhere with like a video about how to set up the apps on your Shopify store. So it'd be kind of all over the board. I'd rather just have, more fun with it and then be able to put that time on my actual e-commerce businesses, because those are much more scalable in my opinion, and based on the amount of work that I put into those for the return I get, it makes a lot more proportional sense to focus on that than this. So again, it's still just an idea. I'd love to hear your opinions. It does break my golden rule of never abandon a flow of income. Okay, and again, I saw this income as fun. It was something where I started to build it. I was like, oh, this could work, and then we put more attention on it, and it worked, and it was cool, but ultimately it's not what I want to be doing, and I'd personally rather not have people really know who I am, not have people have a certain taste about me in their mouth without having, ever had an experience with me. So, people just think what they want, and for me, I'm just trying to build my companies, and that doesn't exactly correlate with, teaching people stuff, because as much as I love it, and one of my huge things is I hate the education system, so I want to help educate people in a different way. Maybe it's something that I'll come back to in a year, 2 years, who really knows. I just kind of want to take a break for at least 6 months. The plan is kind of just for 2020, kind of stop that at the end of the first quarter, let anyone who wants to learn have a chance to get in. And also, that's only if I do end up closing it. Maybe I'll just stop really focusing on it and it'll still be there. But it is what it is. I get 20 to 30 messages a day of people asking, like, how do I learn from you? How do I do this and that? And I usually don't respond because I don't see them, unfortunately. But you can always go. The links are always in the YouTube descriptions. That's where everything is. There's not a lot of stuff, but yeah, that's kind of been, my thought process with it, my focus. It's been a good 1.5 years or so. With that, it's been a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool people, met a lot of students who have actually become good friends of mine, some who have actually become business partners, which is really, really cool. So it's always tough to gauge, if I want to completely, stop doing stuff online, like if I do try to completely remove my presence, who are the people that I would have got the opportunity to meet that now I'm sacrificing? Because there's so many good friends of mine and mentors and business partners that I wouldn't have met if it weren't for doing this initially, because I met a few friends through it, and they introduce you to people and so on and so forth. So it's kind of that opportunity cost. But yeah, that's kind of been on my mind recently, but throughout this entire year, it's super simple. I haven't focused on much except for really growing my e-commerce businesses. I found a cool angle to kind of structure everything in just a different way than everyone. So that's why I definitely want to focus way more on that side of what I do. It's also been a way more interesting to me. I would much rather, and this might sound selfish, but it is, I'd much rather sit there and run Facebook ads with my music blasting, with nobody in the room, not having to talk to people or deal with anyone, rather than be like trying to always help people and have people take it for granted. It gets annoying. So that's just where I'm at right now. I want to focus on that. That's where I want to put my attention. And again, like I said, as nerdy as it sounds, I've been having way more fun doing that than doing anything else. So I would love your feedback on that portion of it, but from an e-commerce perspective this year, I've seen a lot of growths, a lot of times where I've grown in certain areas, a lot of things that have gone wrong. Most of that pertains to other people, which kind of always seems to be a reoccurring thing, but been completely knocked on my ass this year as well, just by other people. So, it's totally okay. It happens. You just got to screen people better and make sure you're watching over things a little bit more closely. It's always a good lesson. So, yeah, I've had, the biggest months of my life income-wise this year, which has been amazing. I've been able to purchase my grandpa his dream car, which is nuts. At the beginning of this year, I was able to purchase my own dream car. I moved into a house. It was my first time actually living in a house for like a long period of time, not a few months. So yeah, it's really been a crazy whirlwind of stuff, but regardless of the stuff, whether it's my own stuff or this rented stuff, like it's just stuff, I I don't care. So, you know, I'm totally fine with a 1-bedroom tiny apartment with a desk. You know, it doesn't matter all those things. Those are just extras. You know, my focus, my attention, and my capital is going towards the companies. You know, so for me, like, I would never, ever, I don't know how much this car is to rent normally. I mean, I'm sure this shit's like over $1,000 a day. I mean, it's a brand new Rolls Royce Dawn. I think it's 2019. I think this is like $1,200 or $1,300 a day. There's no way I'm going to pay that. It doesn't make sense. I'd rather Uber. I'd rather get a car for $100 and have a Mustang or whatever else you can get. So, you know, like, I was just able to get a great deal, and that's why I did it. So, yeah. That's been an interesting year. It really has. You know, again, a lot of growth, a lot of getting knocked on my ass, and, you know, learning a lot and meeting a lot of people, which has been cool, and just kind of figuring out the direction I want to take. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the update for you guys. I think that's all I wanted to update you on. If not, I'll add a clip on the back end of this if I remember. But this is just a little bit of a different video, a little bit of a longer video. I do apologize about that, but I want to give you guys kind of an update, show you what I've been focusing on throughout the year. I mean, it's really just been e-commerce. Oh, how did I even forget? My main interest, my long-term interest, what I've wanted to do since I was like 12, you know, long term, when I'm like 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, the stuff I'm gonna leave behind for my family, real estate. I have purchased multiple properties this year, my first property included. So just starting to get some experience with that, which has been super, super cool. The properties I'm buying right now are solely for the purpose of me renting them out. Okay, they're not gonna be Airbnbs, they're not gonna be anything short-term for right now. I'm just putting a tenant in there with a 12-month lease. So it's gonna be a really simple structure. It's in a great area. We've already ran the numbers. I mean, these are gonna be great properties. So, you know, anything can happen, but we've really done our due diligence, working with a great team of people for that. So it should be super exciting. I would love to keep you guys updated on that. You know, that's something where it's really long term. You know, I could see myself holding some of those properties for 10, 20 years, you know, maybe just never selling it. So for me, that's always been, you know, something that's intriguing me. I always look at properties. I always like to kind of check that stuff out online. So being able to now use capital from my other income streams and then purchase properties has truly been a blessing and a super interesting thing to do. You know, I love to just go walk around a property and say, oh, we could do this, we could rehab this, we could fix it. And, you know, it's always an interesting thing to kind of figure out how you can get more rent, how do you increase the property value. You know, it's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. So yeah, that's kind of been my main focus. I don't want to drag this on too long, but I do appreciate every single one of you guys who subscribes to the channel, who watches the videos consistently, who drops a like, you know, who's curious. You know, if you're always asking questions, I love that. Yeah, I do greatly appreciate people who ask those questions, because look, if you're trying to start something, if you're trying to learn something, trying to do something, which I would assume that's probably why you're watching this channel, you have to ask questions. It doesn't have to be to me, but you have to be a person who's willing to ask for help. You have to be someone who asks strategic questions. You know, not what's your Shopify store, Hayden, or not, you know, how do I become a millionaire, you know, by the end of this next year. Like, ask very strategic questions. Try and sit and think about questions that, you know, other people wouldn't ask whoever you're trying to ask. You know, that's been a really key thing that's set me apart, and in my opinion, and built some cool relationships with people who are of immense levels of success. So, you know, I've been able to get in the room with them and then stay in the room with them and then have their phone number and hang out with them and go to dinner and meet their families, and it's been a really, really cool experience. So just questions, something as simple as that is, you know, thinking of a couple of the right questions that will really benefit you, but are intriguing, that are specific, that kind of showcase that you're already doing something. You know, you're not just trying to leech off of them and then like get something going from scratch. So, you know, get things going and ask those questions. You know, whatever I can do to help you, I would love to assist. That's again why I try to make these videos, why we initially put out the program. That's why I like offer all this stuff, which, I mean, the only two things we offer that are paid are, you know, the program where we teach everything, and then you getting a custom built Shopify store. So those are kind of the two questions I always get a lot is, can you review my store? How do I build a store? Is this a good store? So I figured I might as well just make something that solves that. So it's kind of all about problem solving here. You know, you're gonna run into obstacles and roadblocks. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. You know, it is kind of a big shift. It's not a change, but it's a big shift with what I wanna do with the education side of it. But again, it's all just a thought, it's just a plan right now. We'll see what ends up happening. But regardless, yeah, probably still will be posting stuff online. It just depends on where and when. So yeah, I mean, again, my main focus always has been on the e-commerce businesses. Even when I was making the 30-day academy, which by the way, was a bitch to make. That took a long time, because I put literally everything in there. I show you from scratch, like how to go to $10,000 a day. I mean, there's people who could use it to get beyond. I didn't really share, like the 50, 100, like crazy stuff, just because I mean, you always have to hang on to a few percent. But I mean, everything is in there. There's people who try and say that program's trash. I'm like, then you have not gone through it. You have not applied it. You're an idiot. Like, I don't know how else to help people, so I don't care. Maybe I'll stop. But regardless, I would love to help you guys, you people watching this and showing support. So if you have any questions, like drop it down below, whatever it is. I'm gonna go through and do my best to kind of answer all of them throughout the next few weeks. And if you'd be so kind, please drop a like on this video so it can reach more people. It's probably not the sexiest topic. I don't know what I managed to title it or make a thumbnail of, but hey, who knows? Maybe it gets attention, and I would love to have more people see this so that we can help them out even further, right? So with that being said, I hope that everyone had an amazing year, an amazing 2019, and just keep that momentum, keep everything going into 2020. Nothing but positive vibes, love, creativity, everything, keep things going. Again, I would love to assist you in any way that I possibly can, so let me know what that is in the comment section down below. And I think that by the time this video comes out, we've hit 200,000 subscribers, which is crazy. I literally remember the exact day that I hit 100,000 and the day I hit 20,000, which is crazy. Like, I remember where I was, what I was doing, like looking at that computer screen, and it truly is nuts. At the end of the day, it's just a number, but it is a monumental little milestone there that we passed that shows the amount of people that have not only seen what I've done and like seen the videos and like what we've created here, but that have actually followed. That's what that means. Subscribing is basically following. So it's crazy. I'm blessed beyond belief for that. I think we have one of the biggest e-commerce YouTube channels, only second to Shopify, which is a little bit crazy to think about. I think, yeah, Shopify is the only one that's bigger than us, and I don't think they're that far ahead. So who knows? Maybe we'll see. I don't just talk about e-commerce. There's definitely other things in there, but regardless, I've had a lot of fun doing the YouTube content, and I don't really plan on stopping. So if there's any other videos you want to see, let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, I'm done talking. I'm gonna go back and get some breakfast. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace. All right, I'm in South Beach, and I've been waiting 20 minutes for this jet ski to get pulled into the water by waves. It slowly moves it. It's in the water. It was like up there, like this one.
It keeps moving like that.
It moves a little bit every time. I am not leaving here until this goes out to sea. Oh no. It like flipped itself around. I mean, this is a real thing that I've attached myself to. There it goes. This is it. Oh my God. That white cap right there. This has got to be it. Come on, right here. There's some water.
This is how we entertain ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, the heart of South Beach is down there. It's not really that nice of a day out, so nobody's here, but this is how you entertain yourself. Progress update. It's flipped around. Looks semi-promising. The waves are dying down. We shall continue to wait. You can't tell me that one is not it. No, it just pushed it further up. Wait. Oh. Ah. There it goes. It's gone. No, don't get pushed. Oh, there it is. There it is. She is gone. It's gonna get pulled. No. Pull it out. There it goes. No. He brought it back.